Good morning, guys. Okay, so we're looking at the market potentially changing its way that it's moving. So what I want to share with you guys today is a potential change in the shift or shift in the market sentiment, which means that I'm looking to get in on alts on the next dip. So typically the way the market works is once we move into accumulation for Bitcoin, there's certain phases that we need to use to start laddering in our buys. Now, those phases are clearly shared and discussed in my Discord. So what you can do is you can head over to Discord and open this logic. So basically what happens is the market moves into accumulation phase, and A1 is your entry where you start entering the market, you're laddering in. A2 is when we test critical supports, which I think Bitcoin is about to do. And A3 is then when there's a starting or a breakout and a start of a new trend or a markup effect. Now, the alts are normally dragging because the dominance is still strong. So I believe that Bitcoin is in a process of creating and completing an A1. This will then bring the alts into A1 territory so that we can start laddering and buying in on that. Now, how do I support that on TA? Very simple, guys. This is the analysis that I shared with you guys and the buy zone that I shared with you guys from Bitcoin from a Hodl point of view. And you can see we've got a really nice reaction on that view. Now, if we have a look at all the previous setups that I shared with you guys from way back in the entire run, I think there's only one scenario where we missed the buy zone completely. So there's a lot that you can use around this area to kind of create a little bit of credibility for what I try and do with you guys on the stream. So although the buys is there, there's no guarantee that the market's going to move. But statistically, this is a really good scenario, and there's one level that we need to break. Okay, so if you take away all the buy and the sell boxes and we look at the analysis for Bitcoin currently that generated this buy zone, is that we've got a lot of bearish momentum in the market. And like I said, I did give you guys a sell zone. And on the trading side, we've been shorting Bitcoin since 99. So we waited for the divergence to occur. We waited for the market to change its momentum around that. And we've been bearish around those levels. The same then is true from February, where we've been looking at getting out on alts, where I gave you guys a lot of alt, exit signals. So you can start laddering out and waiting for the discount. And if you did do that at this stage, you've got buy the dip money. And this is potentially the next real good buy the dip scenario. Okay, so there's all the buys, there's all the sells, there's the analysis. Very simple. The market has got a lot of work to do. It wants to fill this little gap that created from 74 all the way to 109. And we're just done that now. So we are about to break this bearish momentum that I'm seeing. Okay, so big picture, what we need to remember as we're going forward is that the market has, if we look at Bitcoin, has a tendency to take its time to get to all-time high. And the way that we kind of mark that out is when we look at the previous Bitcoin halving till the next Bitcoin halving, and we apply a time-based fib on that. So it's a fib time zone. And we look at the 38.2 and the 618. Now, typically, between those levels, there's the fib. The 38.2 creates the highs, and the 618 creates the lows. So by timing definitions, we are not in a bear market. We just had a real deep retrace. And that is because there was no real accumulation. Last time round, Bitcoin spent all the way from the 618 to the halving, past the halving almost, or almost close to the halving, at nearly the same area. So there was a massive shakeout and. So when Bitcoin moved, there was no reason for more reaccumulation. So from an alt season point of view, most guys that was in the previous market are saying, well, this is not alt season because we're not experiencing it in the same way. But Bitcoin is still holding trend, and it just needs more accumulation per phases, which means that this has got more micro alt seasons for the alts as opposed to when we had this massive move. So in short, the next halving for Bitcoin is designated for March 2028. Now the dates will kind of vary as every 10-minute block will kind of then project up to a point where we get closer to fine-tuning that time. But projecting from where we are in the future, nearest makes no difference. Statistically, we're looking at the end of the year, September, for when the real bear market's going to hit, when Bitcoin is probably going to be trending bearish and the alt's going to be really bleeding for a while until we build our next base. Now, why does this still play out? Well, simple. As long as there's crypto adoption, these kind of halving cycles will end up and giving us little alt seasons and market seasons. The market is maturing, so the 10,000 X's, I think, is a thing of the past. You might still get it on the new memes and those crazies. But as we go further in the stream, I want to show you guys two altcoins that I think is potentially poised for a really good or early mover if Bitcoin does this, breaks through and gives us that high. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. Now, the important thing is if we look at where Bitcoin is on the buy zone, there's one critical level that we want to get above, $88,000. We need the higher high. Now, on Bybit, we did get the high there, so the Bybit chart might be a little bit different. But then you look at Binance and all the other charts, they're all going to have close to similar areas. So all that we're looking at is, from the daily point of view, we've now closed a candle outside this bearish momentum. So the bears are questioning whether the momentum is still strong. And as long as we hold to this trend now, this momentum should take us, if the market wants to start entering an accumulation phase or a kangaroo market, start bouncing sideways, to create the bottoms for our alts that we can buy, we just need Bitcoin to first put in a higher high, because from that point onwards, we will do what? We will contest critical support areas, wherever that will be, either at 83 then, or 78 then. We'll see when we get there. We first need that higher high, but that then will start igniting the alts, because at this stage they are pretty much all wrecked at that stage. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the comments rule section, because obviously this is not a normal stream. I'm not normally live on a Saturday morning with you guys, so I'm just going to say hi to the OG regulars. Hello Kilian, hello Matty, I see Geyser is here, Trillist, Altec Codes, and Crypto Crusader from Twitter. Good morning to you, my friend. Okay, so are you interested in the next two alts? Give me a 777 in the chat. Let's wake up this chat, because I'm all about live feeds and live information. So give me a 777 if you're interested in looking at the first two potential based altcoin movers. Okay, so now we have this analysis. Let's then just take a deep breath. Right? How did we get the buy real quick? Okay, so the buy was based on the fact that we statistically projected that strong bullish divergence on the daily should occur between 75 and 72. Now, personally, from my own trading perspective, I was hoping that the market was going to dip down a little bit lower so I can get a tighter leverage entry, which wasn't possible for me. Okay. Everybody that's been watching my YouTube channel on the trading podcast, the weekly morning streams, you should be sitting pretty in your long. Okay. So there's a current short, because I like to, as a trader, bet both sides, because then I can just win. Simple as that. So there is a current short in the market, but if we then hide that setup, so I'm just going to hide that setup, you all should be sitting in a long, and you should be sitting pretty. So if this long breaks through this imbalance area, we get our higher high. I have given you guys yet again the bottom. Okay, not as I normally say, I told you that this will be the bottom. I just take things level by level, common sense, level by level, and let the market then tell me whether the bottom is in, which then means if we then go back to this scenario, this is the potential for an A1 for Bitcoin. Let's just do this. A1, meaning we're accumulating, we're building a base, and this higher high will cement in a low. And then when Bitcoin starts consolidating above this, this will be the A2 scenario for BTC, not a 3, A2. Why do I say A2 and then draw a 3? I don't know. My mind's crazy. The A2 scenario, and this potentially for your altcoins, if you head over and look at Ethereum, the alt-season big daddy that we need, will potentially then set us in a scenario where we can either test these lows or test these lows to create that A1. And then finally, we can start buying the bloody dip. Even the guys in my Discord, I have to admit, is getting frustrated because we want to buy the dip, but the market's just not quite there yet. So I'm getting questions in the Discord from the guys. Hey, any update? When can we buy the dip? It feels like we're bottoming slowly and building a range. So people are getting anxious. They want to get in, but you have to wait for the market. So I'm saying that this is the potential earliest time for us to start getting into that. Okay, so if that makes sense, let's quickly have a look at all the 777s Thanks, Dion, Adolfo, Kilian, Ivan. Hello to you, my friend. Saturday morning. I'm looking to add HBAR, LDO, and stacks to my hodl bags on the next step. Matty, you go, man. So Matty's part of the private group. So if you want to, you can actually have limited. I'm going to extend it for the weekend. The Blofin promo, guys. So if you open a Blofin account in the video description, you'll get 90 days into my premium. So you just need to make sure that the referral code's CryptoMC. Then all you need to do is head over to the Discord. I trade live. I do a lot of things live with the people. So everybody in there can probably vouch for, how we go about. You'll get access to the Hodl guide, which explains these phases, okay, for the next 90 days. You'll get access to my latest trading view list, where I'm going to be categorizing most of the alts based on these phases. And you have the additional information to kind of explain to you how I categorize between A, B, and C, the various alts, whether we're buying into weakness, selling into strength, and whether it's a high risk buy, medium, low risk buy, and you're laddering in and laddering out percentages. There's a portfolio planner and an and. Now, if you don't have access to any of the trading links or anything like that, you can just outright join my Discord community as well. Very simple. You just head to the navigation channel, click on the private group button, once off, and you're in. It's as simple as that for life. Okay. And in addition to this, you'll also get access to the buddy indicator. Now, the buddy indicator works as follows. It's your trade buddy. It overrides candle colors based on whether we're bearish, bullish momentum, a bearish retrace, a bearish trend, or bullish trend. So when these candles get override within either blue or orange colors, you have a really good idea of where we are within the markets. And you can see that from the alts, we're still in a bearish range. Candles are still override bearish. But once they start turning blue, like we did in the last accumulation, the buddy indicator gives you everything that you need to say, okay, well, now I need to start getting in on the buys. And you can see we use these lows to get into Ethereum. We use these lows to get into Cardano. And if you don't have skin in the game, guys, you're never going to time when the breakout occurs. But the reality is that when the right signals are there, low volume, we're ranging, it sets up the necessary environment for a massive breakout to occur. And then pretty much all your alts will be doing really well. Okay, so let's have a look at the comments, see if there's anything. Basically looking for a LH on monthly. Lower high, higher low, maybe. Basically, I'm looking for a higher high on BTC, and it's probably about to happen because this is showing us early signs of a breakout. Okay, so that's it. Now, do you guys want to have a look at the first two alts? I believe that's going to move. Okay, let's do that then. Okay, so let's head over to our Hodl analysis, and I'm going to be showing you just briefly on Cardano what is the steps. And then I'm going to show you the alts so that you can take this information. So always say, I don't want to leave people hanging or give them just enough information so that they can just mess it up. We give you all the stuff so that you can reproduce this to any alt that you would want to look at. It's about empowering you guys. Simple as that. Okay. So if we have a look at where we are now, we've got the important thing. The market sells off. People lose interest. The last panic sell gives a little bit of high volume, and then from that point onwards, your volume disappears. People bugger off. Okay. Now, if you look at the fear and greed index, okay, people are fearful. If we look at the index based over a year, where we're at, we're in really lows. So if you look at where we were there, this is August 2024, and we go back to this chart, where we were, August 2024. So we're in the right area to start setting up for accumulation. This doesn't mean that this coin is going to bounce right now. You're going to probably be buying and getting your first entry in, and then you can probably spend a week or two, or maybe even 3, maybe even a month in this range, but you have to have your skin in the game because it can happen overnight when the breakout occurs. So if you don't start buying in on these areas, you're going to maybe chase the bus, and then it's too late. Okay, makes sense? So let's go and have a look at the coins. The first one that I want to share with you guys is AVAX. Okay, back to the comments. Let's quickly see. It is Saturday morning after all. I kind of want to see where you guys are at. Let's see. I believe AI and memes will have the biggest gains. Buddy, I'm actually with you. Not so much so memes, because they've already had a big narrative pump. But I think the next narrative pump for us going forward will potentially be alts. And the memes still have a lot to give, because in those scenarios, they potentially need to go test previous range highs and so forth. So if you think about it, in the first bull cycle, just to kind of put it in perspective in this area, within that big pump, when the alts started moving, okay, what do we need for the alts to move? Remember, you need the dominance to start breaking down. And if we look at that, there were certain kind of coins that had their move. So if you look at where Solana, Shiba Inu got launched, Sand, Metaverse, all these things, they got launched there. Solana, when did Solana get launched? Axie Infinity, gaming, all those things, they kind of got launched there. And their narratives had time to run. So we first had DeFi pump, then it came back. Then we had alts. Then after DeFi, we had GameFi pump. Okay, then metaverses. That was the big meme for the previous run. Metaverses, and it kind of built on the games, because the games now needed an area and a place for people to live. So you had your metaverse, and then on the side, a completely different market, we had the NFTs. But I completely missed out, and this all birthed the idea for the meme, because from the NFTs, meme ideas started coming in, and then we had bear market and everything fell to shit. DeFi kind of being the biggest one to get hit. So up to now, it's no secret DeFi hasn't been pumping because of hesitation, and memes being exciting, being cool, and just being part of a community, and being the biggest Ponzi around, because people are buying them with the idea that they're going to be making massive gains. That narrative has been playing out quite nicely. AI being a tangible something, being something like DeFi, I think has to have its skin in the game, and it's about ready to start moving. So if we have that, the AI narrative might be very strong, and that's what I would be planning for. So those coins, I mean, I've listed them in previous streams. Those coins will be highlighted, and I think those will do really well. Okay, so EMZ. Kudos to you, buddy. Any other comments, you guys? Just drop it in. I would love to see where you guys and your thoughts are. Okay, so let's have a look at AVAX real quick, and then we're going to head off to stream. I don't want to spend more than 20 minutes. Okay, so the first coin being AVAX, very simple. What have we done? We have now, on this move, created 3 consecutive strong bullish divergences. Okay, so the market created its first divergence. Let's get that low in there to there. So I'm going to just draw it out with a trend line, not a scribble line, so that it does look a little bit more professional. I have been getting some criticism from guys saying, hey, your stuff looks like a sketch pad. So I'm going to do that. Strong bullish divergence. I'm going to expand the screen a little bit so it's just a little bit bigger. And the rule with any strong bullish divergence, I always say, is you remain bearish. Why? Because the market needs to reclaim the initiating pivot, meaning the area at which the divergence is linked to. And if it doesn't reclaim that, you can always bet that it's going to go lower still. So what did we do? We did another lower low. Okay. And remember, I'm focusing on closing price, not the wicks itself. Because if I'm negotiating with you, me throwing random numbers out there and you throwing random numbers out there is the potential of how these range works. But once we shake hands, that's the deal. That's the true valuation. And it's whether that valuation is in my benefit as a bull or in your benefit as a bear. And whether you really got hurt for that deal, divergence, or whether I got hurt for the deal, divergence again. That's how this typically works. So where we're at the moment, you can see that we've already reclaimed that area of support. So this is basically the flattest flat line or the strongest support area for AVAX. So AVAX is potentially an early mover for that reason. So I'm just going to put that $1,000 cross line. And what do we want to see? Well, simple. We want to see the market go make a higher high. That's $3 on a coin. So it's so simple. So as Bitcoin goes through its moves, trying to obtain its higher high now, I want to see AVAX do the same. Coins like Ethereum, those might not. They're probably going to be ranging a little bit longer. But then this one is going to show strength because the next area of support then will be there, okay, at 19. So we won't go and visit this range necessarily. Building on the base for the breakout and the big move. The second coin that I want to show you guys is actually Bitcoin Cash. Okay. So Let's have a look at this one. Same thing. Look at the divergence. Boom, boom, boom. 3 divergences in a row, okay? So typically, it's showing you that this is getting exhausted. So this time I'm going to squibble, okay? So bear with me. We've reclaimed that area. Now you can see the differences between a Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum. There is no reclaiming of any divergences. This is not quite ready yet, but these coins are. So they're going to be moving sideways now. So your first buy, as per this chart, let me just get to my Discord there. Your first buy, as per this Hodl guide, is moving in now, an A1. Then A2 and A3 will follow. So this is good signs out there, guys. Okay, so we're getting ready for this one. I want the higher high. Yes, there's going to be a higher high, but there's many areas of support that can count as a higher high, because this was our last massive sell-off. We're basically about to break that high. Start ranging. Oops. A2 is going to start forming. We need to build this range. A3, we're going to buy more, and then we're going to enjoy the ride. How did this happen the last time round? You see what I mean? Boom, boom. There's the higher high or double top, or there for that matter, if you really want to nitpick. And then you start laddering in, you buying, and you enjoy the run. Okay. Now, the rule is after an A3, just as a little comment to you guys, I always say, when it doubles your money, sell half and walk away. So the last time Ryan didn't quite double your money on this one. It's a big coin. But any of these smaller odds are going to go through. If they double your money, you sell half and you walk away. Okay, there you have it, guys. It's as simple as that. So remember, the structure for moving forward and getting in on these good alts. It's very simple. You go to my Discord, open your Blofin account. You'll have access to the Hodl guide. So you're going to join in. For those that's not familiar to Discord, you're going to join. You're going to click yes. I'm a frenemy, so it's going to unlock some of the channels. You're going to see the navigation channel, and then you're going to go to the partners channel. It's all linked there, partners channel. You're going to get your Blofin account, or you're going to use a special link in the video description. I'll highlight this one because this one gives you more benefits. Okay, Blofin will give you, for every $10,000 of trading volume, a win and spin opportunity where you can win up to half a BTC. So it's putting money right back into your pocket. Compliments of Blofin. Okay, then once that is done, you can come and claim your access. We've had a new sign up that claimed this access. I still need to grant the access. Okay. And then that will make your Discord look like my Discord. It's as simple as that. So you'll have access to the Hodl guide, everything out there, and the Hodl reports with all the reports and everything that goes with that. Simple as that. Okay. There you have it, guys. You have a lovely day. Thanks so much for taking time, joining it live with me. Are you day trading or trading also in small time frame? Yes. There's a public trade channel where if you support some of my content, you'll actually be able to order it and participate in. And I also share my personal setups, stuff I take. Okay, all the trade setups that I take with you guys. Okay, so simple as that. Bitcoin long, Bitcoin short, however the market moves, I share them, and you can actually play them out with me. So there's a private trade room that basically goes through all those things together. So I do both, guys. I do this for a living, and this is my community. You can join that. As simple as that. Thanks so much for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. You have a lovely weekend. Okay, this is exciting stuff. I think I don't have the hype and pumper mental voice to basically get that, but this is exciting stuff. And from a trader point of view, multi-time frame analysis, this weekly time frame, we basically reject it at an amazing level for a potential higher high. So that's the simplest I can put that. From the daily time frame, we have broken, or we're trying to break. At the end of today, we'll probably know a massive bearish trend or momentum that retail would basically subscribe to. So I always say these lines, think of them literally as just a sentiment. Yet on the other side, people will question the sentiment. And the fact that they're questioning it means that they won't act. So this is the time where we need to act, okay? And then from that point onwards, you know the rest. We trade with everybody in the Discord. That's it. Have a lovely day. Thanks so much, Chris. Stanley, let's see. Stanley, basically looking for a lower high around. I basically already answered that. Mr. DM Photographic. And yeah, all the other guys. I'll be seeing you Monday morning, where we're going to be looking at whether this swing short held. I hope it doesn't, because this would make this whole video worth your time. And this means that this long will be playing and printing money nicely. Okay, cheers, guys.